Now we're going to look specifically at slope. So when we look at slope, slope happens in everyday life. It happens in things like wheelchair ramps and highways, hills and such. So, these people are standing next to a sign that says 7% grade next 3 miles. So 7% as a fraction means 7 over 100, right? Because 7% really means 7 per, or 7 divided by 100. That means it rises 7 feet for every 100 feet, however far it goes. And that's a pretty steep grade for a road to continually do that. Now, if it does that just one little place, that's fine. But to continue that for 3 miles, that means it's going really far uphill or really far downhill. Okay. So here's your picture of it to kind of show you how it works. So on this road, it goes up the hill 7 miles, or goes up the hill 7 feet for every 100 feet you drive, or the other way around, goes down. So the slope measures the rise and the run of stairs, is another example of this. So you can kind of see, maybe it's 4 feet up and 4 feet over, 4 inches up and 4 inches over if they're really tiny stairs. But that's a slope. But all stairs or all steps of it have to be through the same line. You can see how these all line up. So yes, that means they're on the line. But if you can't make a line out of the stairs, it's not a linear graph. See, that purple one's way over there, so it's not even close. But if I put those two on a line, then yes, that is on a line because the slopes of them are the same. So to find slope, you can use the formula. So there are 2 ways to use the formula. One of those is rise over run. And it's something I've kept talking about because slope is super important. It means how high you go up or down over how far you go east and west, or left and right. So on this first one, my rise is 1, so you make it a fraction, 1 over 2, or 1 over 2, or 1/2. That's the slope of A. B, the rise is 3, and then the run is 2. Now, as you see, you go up is positive, and to the right is positive. So I go up, which is positive, and to the right. Or if I went back down this way, I could say I went back left and down. Well, left is negative and down is negative. Negative over a negative makes a positive fraction. So slope is super important because it is a fraction. You have to treat it as such. Positive over positive gives you positive. Negative over negative gives you a positive. But negative over positive or positive over negative gives you a negative slope. And so positive slopes always go from left to right, kind of uphill like this. Negative slopes go down the other way. So that's what I just reiterated. So on this one, yeah, you can see it's positive because it goes up the hill, and it goes up 1. My rise is 1. My run is positive 2. So it's a 1 over 2. This one, as you see, goes up 1, 2, 3, and the run is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 over 4 is the slope. Now, for some graphs, you can do this, and it's easy just to do it like that. You just count the rises over however many steps you go up over how many you go over, and that is your distance, or that is your slope, sorry. The last 2 lines had a positive slope. Let's look at negative slope. Negative slope goes downhill. So you see it goes down 2 and then over 3. So it's negative 2 over 3. This one, also a negative slope, goes downhill. Negative 1 over positive, because now we're going right, 1, 2, 3, 4, because you count the squares. So it's a negative 1/4 is my slope. This one, Do it again. Start from this point. Always make sure you start from a point where they cross the things. So where they cross the lines. So it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a -5 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So -5 over 6, or -5/6 is my slope. So identify slope on a graph. Find where the line intersects grid lines. So on this one, there's an intersection. That's almost an intersection, but not really. But that's definitely one. This graph's a little weird. There's probably one out here somewhere. And then you draw the triangle. Oh, it is giving you that one. So on this graph, it's saying this is an intersection. And I hate to say it, but maybe so. And then there's your other one. So there's 2 points on the line. Make sure they are points that cross at grid lines, and we're going to claim they do. So this one goes down 1. So my rise is -1. And then my run goes +1, 2. -1 over 2. It's negative because it goes downhill. And then it's, my run is going to be 2 because it goes 2 to the right. So my m, or my slope, is -1 over 2. Here's the slope formula. Now sometimes they'll just give you 2 points and say, what is the slope of a line that crosses the points -3, 8, and +2, 1? Then you have to plug them into a formula because you don't have a handy little graph like this where you can just count spaces. For those, you have to use the formula. And the formula is on the test handout sheet. So identify 2 points on a line, plug those into a formula. So here's an example. It's not a very good example, but it is an example nonetheless. What is the slope of a line with the points of -3, 8, and 2, 11? So here's what you do. You first use that slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is my first point. This is my second point. And what they want you to do is find the change in y's from the second back to the first, and the change in the x's from the second back to the first. So y2 was -11 because y is your second one. Remember, these are x, y coordinates. X, y, x, y. First x, first y, second x, second y. So the second y comes first because that would be my rise, and then my runs come second. So y2 is -11. So -11 goes there. y1 is the y coordinate for the first point, which is 8. So it's y2 minus y1. -11 minus 8 now means I've lost 11, I lose 8 more, I've lost 19. On the second one, x2, the second x is 2, the first x is -3. So 2 minus -3. And if I lose 2 and then I lose a negative, that means I gain. So 2 plus 3 is 5. So it's -19 over 5. That is my slope. I know it's weird and it's not a whole number, but that happens sometimes. Sometimes it is a whole number. Sometimes it's 5 or 8 or 22. Just remember that means 22. If it's 22, it's 22 over 1. So always remember that. If it's a whole number, it means over 1. So a slope of -3 is actually -3 over 1, which means it goes down 3 and over 1. So let's look at this one. What is the slope of the line shown on the graph above? So we can say it goes rise. Remember, rise first. There's a point. There's a point. So it goes up 1, 2. So it's +2 for my rise. And then my run is also positive. 1, 2, 3, 4. So +2 over 4, which reduces down to +1/2 C. Next one. What is the slope of a line with points 3, -2, and 6, 4? So we plug it into our formula. Oh no. So we plug it into our formula. Sorry, let's go back to this one. And once we plug it into our formula, we say y2 minus y1. So 4 minus a -2 is 4 plus 2, which is 6, over, and then x2, which is 6 minus 3. Well, 6 minus 3 is 3. So 6 over 3 is the same as 1/2. No, I'm sorry. 6 over 3 is 2. What am I talking about? Positive 6 divided by 3, 6 over 3, is 2, or 2 over 1, which is E, which is your answer.